Let me start it from the top
That
then,
was
guys.
important, Arnett.
All right, let's start it from the top. I'm just reading the teleprompter here. I'm sorry, guys. That's what I'm reading. Black men show up with guns in response to white men threatening black women and march on Confederate monuments. Old Stone Mountain.
I don't get the I don't get the end of that. March on Confederate mountains.
Monuments.
Monuments.
Yes, monuments.
What is-
Monuments, like they like the statues.
Who?
Yes.
The guys with guns?
Yes.
They protested General E.
It's
Lee
like they're
and a
heroes.
whole bunch of other people.
It's like they're heroes.
Who are we talking about? Are we talking about the group of men who with guns who like were on camera, or are we talking about in general?
Yes, the group of black men protested the fact that there are Confederate statues.
Correct.
Oh,
Correct.
okay. Marched as
And
okay.
I'm saying you lost the war. What is there to be proud about? You wanted slavery. What is there to be proud about? Yes, it's history. But what the fuck do you have pride in that? Like, why would you have pride in that?
Trump said.
That's how I feel. Like, you fucking stupid.
Trump.
You lost the war, and yet there's still statues.
Trump says that people are unhappy with monuments to slave owners. I guess that's not. That's different than Confederate soldiers. You have to learn history.
We already learned history. It was your history. There's not one thing in there, like, barely about our history.
And I say to Trump that
Like,
he has
don't
to
get me
learn
started
history.
with this.
Trump needs to learn history because the history is there and it's obvious. Yeah. So black men showing up with guns in response to white men threatening. There's been a couple videos that came up where you had.
Here's the thing, though. Not a single one of them was shot.
Yeah, no one was shot. No one was no. So and there's been several videos of white people defending their property with their guns. The thing I don't like about those videos is the way that they point the guns. You have your rights to have your gun, whatever.
That's the only part you don't like?
I don't like the fact that they can have their guns, whatever, but don't point.
No,
them.
I'm not.
They can protect. This is their property.
Yeah,
You can do
you can
whatever
have your
you
gun,
want to protect your
but
property.
don't point it
understand
at
that,
people. Don't point at people like you're going to shoot them.
Yeah.
That's a whole different thing. You know what I mean? And one of the thing on this video that was pretty it was different than the other videos I've watched with white people holding their guns. This man who was giving this very passionate speech about things he believed never once pointed the gun at anyone. He had his arm out.
It was always
on the ground.
It was always towards the ground.
He held out his arm, but the gun was always pointed towards the ground. He didn't point it at anyone. There was no threat. You know what I mean? It was always pointed down at the ground. And
Well, yeah, he was military. He was ex-military, or he was.
So
Most
I
of them
appreciate
were.
that.
They knew what to do with a gun.
I appreciate
They were
that.
equipped in the knowledge of knowing what to do. Yeah, I appreciated it too, and yeah, that kind of. Oh.
And they have a right.
So,
they have a right to have those guns. You know, they have a right.
Are you talking? You're talking about the people who are coming outside and trying to defend their property?
I'm talking about everyone who decides to bring a gun anywhere, wherever, depending on where they are in their state. I'm sure in that state it was legal to have those guns.
Open carry. It's an open carry state.
You know, so they're not breaking laws. They're doing they have a right to do, and that's that. You know.
Yep.
Interesting.
And who else have anything to say about that?
No, I fully support that.
You know?
Yeah.
But you wouldn't catch me. You wouldn't catch me concealed carry. I protect my house to death, but you wouldn't catch me with concealed carry or any kind of carry.
I was gonna bounce over to what I guess the people that's in front of their own homes that have the guns and that are pointing, and the people that we see like the couple that was pointing a gun at a black woman and her child.
Right. Oh, you're talking about the woman that hopped out of the car?
Yeah.
I don't like those videos.
You don't.
And I've
like,
always. The thing is,
I don't even know about this video.
yeah.
What is
so
this?
there's a video, and it kind of starts in the middle of the video where a black woman is recording, and the video title is a white woman points a gun at a black woman and her child, and the video starts, and it's just the white woman pointing the gun at the black woman, right? And a lot of people.
Some context. Give it a little context. A little context behind it's a parking lot. It's just a small plaza.
There's a parking lot,
and the husband is
in
the vehicle.
She's standing by her vehicle, right? And I've talked to some people, and they say that a lot of these videos don't have the proper context. You know, how do we know that this black woman didn't threaten this woman before she started recording? You know what I mean? And it's a lot of it's a thing that a lot of people are saying about these videos. They're media food. They're put out there so that they can get a reaction. But for this specific video, I will say this: there are a couple of red flags.
A couple?
There's a
the
couple
whole
of
thing's
red
a red
flags.
flag.
In that state you have a right to have a gun. You have a right to point that gun at somebody. And
no,
if you feel
that's where it becomes.
Which state? Hold on, which state?
I don't know what state it is. Arnett, do you know what it is?
Okay.
I know that it wasn't illegal for her to do that.
I want to say Oklahoma. I think it was.
Oh,
that's probably a stand your ground state.
Stand your ground, right? Which is a stupid law. Anyway, so this woman is now, like we said, we gave the layout. She's in front of her car, right, with the gun pointed at this woman who has a camera, right? First off, if she's not armed, I don't think it's right to point a gun at her. You can show her your gun. You can say, "Hey, I'm carrying backup."
Wait, showing
your
gun is just as intimidating as pointing your gun. I mean,
no, it's not.
No, metaphorically, if we're talking about if this was someone in a courthouse state of law, they would look at it. Of course, one is more escalated. No, one's more obviously more escalated, but
right.
The intention.
I don't think you should ever draw your gun on an unarmed person. If that person is unarmed, I think
unless your life is in complete danger, then they're just going.
Here's the thing: unless it was a woman versus a man, you know what I mean? Like that woman. But these.
What you're trying to say? Women aren't big enough to. You're trying to say women aren't big enough to inflict pain on a man? Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying that it's not a fair fight. But if it's two women, I don't understand why she's drawing, her weapon. And there's, I guess, okay, I can't say that, for everything. Some, women are smaller than other women sometimes.
You're starting to sound misogynistic here, Eric.
I feel like, shh.
Eric, be careful.
It's not misogynistic.
Me too is coming your way.
So another red flag. I'm going to kind of drop that one because as I talk through it, I kind of proved myself wrong there. We don't know what the black woman looked like. She might have been like a 6'4", muscular, ready to.
She was not.
I don't know.
Not.
Why give that picture?
I'm just saying.
What I'm saying. Why portray that picture?
I know.
There's kind of a glimpse peek of that woman, and she looked fairly out of shape.
What I'm saying is that if you're going to draw your gun, the threat has to be very, very imminent. Second red flag is that she's in front of her vehicle, right? If you're in a threatening situation, just getting and nothing was holding your vehicle there. Right, there's nobody in the back of her vehicle, no one in the front of her vehicle. Her vehicle was behind her, on. It was actually on, right? And all you have to do is get in the car and drive off.
So she wasn't driving; her husband was. So
her husband was driving. He was in the car with it on, with the car on. Get in the car and drive off. That's all.
So she was making a scene for her own pure enjoyment, is what it sounds like.
I don't know if she was enjoying it, but she was angry.
No, what I'm saying is,
was this woman a Karen?
We can't call her a Karen.
Was this a Karen?
We can't call it a Karen. I can't call her a Karen because apparently, okay, we'll go into that later because I do want to talk about that. But sticking to this lady.
Well, we don't really have time for that. Like, we just gotta.
So we might pick up the Karen thing next week. But going like, what were you saying, Arnett, about the woman?
I was saying that the woman is, she's a bit. She didn't seem to. She was making. Oh yeah, she was making something bigger than it needed to be. Is kind of something I was saying. She seemed to be because she had a car that was ready to leave. There was no one back keeping her there.
Right.
So it was like she knew she could have got away if she wanted to. So with that known and with that obviously seen, she was doing this to probably set a precedence.
Anger.
So if you see me again, I want to invoke fear in you.
Right.
So you get me? She was trying to invoke fear. That was her whole point of doing that. It may have been subconsciously, but it was definitely her point. Because when you look at if she was in true danger, she was not in true danger. She obviously could leave when she wanted to. There was nobody stopping her from leaving. So the fact that she had all the power in her hands, even though she felt like she was having it looks like somebody was having a meltdown or a short psychotic break.
She was very, very, very emotional.
She was extremely outside of herself, and
which is another scary thing to be pointing at a gun at somebody in that state.
You could see it in her eyes. You could see that she was willing to be mercifulness. I mean, she was willing to be very brute about what she was trying to do.
Right. And moving on.
Yeah.
I want to talk. We're going to kind of skip over some things here. I just want to leave
That's fine.
The audience. We're going to leave this segment with a key idea, and I want to ask the audience. And I want to ask the audience something. If everyone is biologically, pretty much the same, right? We're all human. If everyone has the same wants, the same needs, same ambitions, right? We all, generally speaking, why is it that black people have seemed to be in this state of poverty for so long? And I just want to leave our audience to think about that. Why?